I welcome everyone in today's session on the comprehensive guide for the time management. Throughout the session, we will explore how time management can enhance our productivity at the workplace and help us to accomplish all the goals of our life. Moreover, we will understand the value of time, procrastination, and various methods which can help us to improve our time management and working skills. The outline of this presentation throughout the session, what we are going to look into this is, we'll go through the essential of the time management skills for maximizing the productivity and accomplish our goals. The essential time management skills for maximizing the productivity and accomplishing our goals. Then we will understand the value of time and its effective management, how it can boost our productivity and help us to accomplish other goals of our life. Time management for setting the priorities to overcome the procrastination. We'll go through multiple strategies, how to prioritize our day-to-day work, which will help us to improve our time management skills and increase the productivity. Planning and controlling how much time generally we spend on specific activities. We'll also take a look at the crucial for maximizing the efficiency, productivity, and overall effectiveness, which can be accomplished employing the various time management skills. Effective time management generally leads us towards the better efficiency or increased efficiency when we do the prioritization of our activities. It reduces the stress and it improves the work-life balance also. The fundamental time management principles and various techniques such as, let's say, setting up the goals, how to manage various tasks, optimize our workflow, and etc. that we will cover throughout this session and understand how they can help us to improve the efficiency. Various tools can be used to manage the time effectively. Accomplishing the greater success and fulfillment across all the area of life, employing these various time management skills, right? How this time management knowledge can help us to accomplish our larger goals throughout our life. In this section, we will understand the value of the time. As we know, time is a finite resource. And it must be managed wisely to accomplish our goals. Let's say, for an example, our day starts with X amount of money, and the condition is if we do not spend by end of the day, that money disappears, right? Similarly, the time exactly is in the same way. When we begin our day, it starts with 24 hours for us, right? If we do not use it wisely, by end of the day or by end of the cycle of 24 hours, it disappears. That's why the time management is extremely important. The way we use our time to attend our work, right? That is really essential to improve our efficiency and improve the overall work-life balance, right? There are two kind of different mindsets. One is the time scarcity. Generally, we feel sometimes that we do not have time, right? Not sufficient time to accomplish the things what we want to do. It may be a result of two possible scenarios. Number one, we are really busy and we are really overloaded. Number two, we are not efficiently using our time and prioritizing our tasks, right? So that we have to figure out and improve in both the scenarios. Second thought is called the time abundance. On the other hand, it says that when we have the feeling of satisfied that we have sufficient time available to do the things. Now, it also stems from two scenarios. Either we don't have anything to do and there is an abundance of time. That means we are not giving enough challenging activities or tasks to ourselves, right? That is first scenario. Or there is another scenario that we are efficient in time management and we are employing that time management skill set to improve our work efficiency, right? Therefore, by recognizing the value of time, we can make better decision and prioritize what truly matters. Prioritize what truly matters, right? Therefore, we will take a look at various time management skills or methods which help us to allocate time effectively and help us to balance the competing priorities and accomplish our objectives. There are multiple benefits for this time management and how it can help us positively to boost our satisfaction in our life. So we'll go through that one by one, step by step. In this section, we will take a look what are the benefits of the effective time management. The benefits are as follows. When we effectively manage our time, we can improve our productivity. We can improve our efficiency. We get the better time allocation that increases the focus and concentration of our work on which we are working on, right? And it gives the greater achievement of the goals. When we focus effectively and when we concentrate on our responsibilities, tasks or jobs, we get them executed in time with the expected quality standards, and that helps us to achieve greater achievements of the goal. When we do the things on time and accomplish our goals, we get the satisfaction and therefore it reduces the stress. And when the stress is released, rest of the saved time can be converted into leisure time and we can have the enhanced work-life balance. And when we are doing it frequently, employing this enhanced time management skills, our decision-making skills get improved. They also enhance the personal growth and overall well-being. Let's take a look the common time wasters. In this section, we'll go through the common time wasters which we come across in day-to-day tasks. For an example, let's say we are checking emails constantly. Unnecessary meetings we are attending, having no time boundaries. That means we are not setting up the proper time boundaries. We are multitasking the things. That reduces the overall efficiency. We are taking too many things beyond our capacity at the same time, and we keep getting distracted by multiple of the things, right? We have a fear of failure sometimes, right? That also degrades our efficiency, and sometimes we are indecisive. Or we are deciding on the trivial tasks, right? Distractions, maybe the notifications or maybe any other distraction. Inability to say no. Sometimes it's better to say no, but we are unable to say no. Having no system or no action plan. We don't have any action plan. Disorganization. We are much more disorganized. That also leads to inefficiency. We are not using time management tools or any other tools which can ease our day-to-day job. Doing something ineffectively. Sometimes we are doing everything at our own. Some of the responsibilities we can designate our subordinates or some other people or outsource them, but we are doing them at our own. That leads to the inefficient usage of time. Comparing ourselves with others. Comparing ourselves with others, that boosts the negativity and reduces our efficiency. Trying to please everyone. We are trying to please everyone. That again kills our capability. Aiming for a perfection. We have to start somewhere. We will never be perfect unless we start, learn and reach that quality standard, right? False starts, repeating the same task again and again, right? Repeating the same mistake again and again, continuing to do something that is no longer beneficial, constantly checking the stats, or maybe Facebook, Instagram, or maybe any other social media accounts, spending too much time for entertainment, right? Poor health habits. We are not waking up on time, we are not exercising, we are not sleeping on time, we are not eating on time. Overall, that kills our performance and reduces the efficiency. So there are multiple of these. The major one is that sometimes we are not having a goal. It's like headless chicken, right? If we are not having a goal, we do not know what has to be done in the short term. We do not know what has to be done in the long term. In this section, we'll take a look how to set up the clear goals and objectives. The goals must be set up nicely. Sometimes people used to follow a strategy called setting up the SMART goals, where S stands for specific. Our goal should be clearly specific and well defined, and it must be focused. We must have a clarity that what we want to accomplish throughout the life, throughout the year, throughout the month, throughout the week, and throughout the day, right? So the long-term goal, short-term goal can be executed by doing it step by step. It must be measurable. Goals should be measurable and quantifiable, including the concrete criteria for success for the progress tracking. When we measure the goal, we feel motivated that how much we have accomplished. It must be achievable. The goal should be realistic and attainable. We cannot have which we cannot achieve, right? So it must be achievable and attainable, considering the resources what we have, considering our expertise or capabilities, considering our limitations and constraints. It must be relevant also. The goal should be relevant to our values, priorities, interests and long-term objectives that we want to accomplish, and the vision what we have for our life and for our work targets. The goal must be time-bound. With a specific deadline or time frame to complete that, right? The goal cannot be like expanded across the infinity of time scale. It must be time bound. Let's say, for an example, in next 10 years, I want to accomplish something. In next 5 years, I want to accomplish something. And next 1 year, I want to accomplish this thing. And this 1 month, I will align my actions to accomplish those goals step by step, one step at a time. There are certain benefits of setting up the SMART goals, such as it helps us to increase the focus. And when we increase the focus and concentration on the task, it helps us to accomplish our goals successfully. That builds our motivation. And when we have a clarity about this goal, it helps us to set up the smaller segments of the tasks which we can accomplish across the shorter time frame, day to day, hour by hour, week by week, month by month, and we can align our actions to accomplish that particular goal, right? So these are the benefits of setting up the SMART goal to increase the efficiency and productivity. In this section, we will understand what is procrastination. Procrastination is a habit for delaying the works which we can finish in time. it has certain negative consequences. It has certain negative consequences, right? There are certain reasons of procrastination, such as, let's say, we try the perfectionism. We are striving for perfection, right? We are striving for perfection, but we have to start somewhere. And over the period of time, slowly we become perfect. Sometimes we are lagging with the motivation. We do not have the motivation to begin with. We are not equipped with the proper time management skills, and that means we are not able to complete our tasks on time, and that will lead us towards the lesser efficiency, and that subsequently goes to the procrastination. Right? Sometimes there are adverse effects of the procrastination. Or negative consequences, such as, let's say, reduced productivity. Procrastination, it leads to lesser time spent on the important activities, tasks, what we want to accomplish, and it slows down our progress and productivity. It increases the stress. When we delay the tasks, often that will result in the last minute rush, and it will increase the stress and anxiety levels, right? It will increase the stress and trigger the anxiety. Furthermore, when sometimes we will not be able to accomplish the goal on time, that will result in loss of our revenue, profit, or it may create a negative image, or future contracts or tasks can be denied, right? It may result in the lower quality of work also. And sometimes we miss the opportunities. Because of the procrastination. Sometimes we miss the deadlines, and it doesn't give the good image and responsibility to our clients or partners, or wherever we are working in whichever the scenario we are working, and that results in a huge loss. How to overcome the procrastination? Generally, setting up the clear goals, it helps us to keep us motivated and help us to focus on what needs to be accomplished and reduce the procrastination. Generally, the larger task can be divided into the smaller steps. When we divide the larger tasks into the smaller steps, they become manageable, and we can keep accomplishing smaller segments or smaller pieces of that bigger task and accomplish the larger goal. Create a schedule, a realistic schedule with specific deadlines, right? They help us to ensure the consistent progress, to consistently we progress on that task, and then it will prevent the last minute rush and help us to accomplish that work. Seek the support, right? We don't have to do everything at our own, or we don't have to struggle at our own. We can ask support from our peers, mentors, advisors, right? We can request them to provide the insights, guidance, or motivate us, or provide the feedback on something what we are missing. In this section, we will take a look at various time management methodologies that we employ to enhance the skill, right? Such as, let's say, the planning and scheduling, Pomodoro technique, Parkinson's law, Pareto principle, Eisenhower method, value versus effort method, Kanban method, pickle jar theory, time boxing technique, time blocking technique, 1-3-5 technique, 2 minutes rule, deep work technique, biological prime time technique, personal time audit method, rapid planning method, power of saying no, importance of routine, optimizing the workspace, and eat that frog. We'll try to cover these prioritization techniques in the upcoming slides. Let's begin with planning and scheduling for time management. In this section, we will discuss about the planning and scheduling what we employ for time management. Generally, the planning can be divided into two segments. One is the long-term planning and this short-term planning. One is the long-term planning and short-term planning. And according to those long-term and short-term goals, we do the time allocation. According to that long-term and short-term goals, we do the time allocation and we plan all our resources. Let's say budget, manpower, materials, right? Even the time as a resource. We allocate those resources judiciously to accomplish our short-term and long-term goal. Often we go with the contingency planning to identify potential risks that may appear during the task, and we have to anticipate the adverse effect and budget the resources or time or manpower or money for that to overcome those troubles. In this section, we will take a look at a very famous time management method, which is called Pomodoro method. Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method which was developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. This technique was designed to improve the focus and productivity by breaking the work into the smaller time intervals, such as, let's say, 25 minutes in a length, that is one Pomodoro, followed by a short break, could be 5 minutes of a short break, 5 minutes of a short break. Let's say, work is divided. So whatever the task I'm doing it, let's say throughout the day, I divide that into the interval of 25 minutes. And then I can take a short break of 5 minutes after each Pomodoro. The longer duration is called a Pomodoro. 25 minutes is one Pomodoro. And then after completing 25 minutes uninterrupted focused session on the work, we can take 5 minutes of break. And then after 3 or 4 Pomodoros, we can take a longer break around 15 to 30 minutes where we can check all the notifications or maybe take a tea break or maybe we can grab a snack, something. It's up to you how we want to do that. Steps to implement the Pomodoro technique. Choose a task. Let's say for an example, studying, writing the research paper, coding, or even household chores, whatever. Set up a timer for 25 minutes, that is one Pomodoro. Work on the task with a sole focus, right? Focus on just that task for next 25 minutes, and avoid all the interruptions and distractions. Take a short break, when this timer goes off. Take a short break of 5 minutes, maybe relax or stretch or grab a snack and then repeat. Repeat the entire process. After completing 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. After completing 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes and then do, maybe check the notifications of your cell phone or reply to the emails, or grab a snack or maybe whatever you want to do. Take a tea, something like that. There are benefits of the Pomodoro technique, such as, let's say, it helps us to enhance the focus. It helps us to increase the productivity. We can improve our time management because the regular breaks, they help us to refresh our mind and making it easier to stay focused on the task during the next Pomodoro. If we do not take the break, we lose the efficiency and productivity. Therefore, it is advisable to take the regular break with the constrained interval, right? But it shouldn't be like that. Our break became of 3 hours. We got deviated in the break and we started doing something else. So we have to stay focused on during taking the breaks also. It provides the better time estimation skills because when we track the number of Pomodoros needed for different tasks, it helps us to estimate the better time for our task, that we come to know that this much time is needed. It reduces the mental fatigue also because when we take the regular breaks, that helps us to reduce the fatigue and keep our mind fresh and improve the productivity. In this section, we will take a look at the Parkinson's law for time management. The Parkinson's law states that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. It suggests that if we give more time to ourselves, our work will get expanded, it will take longer time. Conversely, if we set up a shorter time frame, we'll most likely be able to complete it quickly. Within that time frame. Because let's say expanded scope. When more time is available, people tend to complicate the task unnecessarily. They add additional layer of complexity, which wasn't initially necessary, right? They add additional layers of complexity. Those layers weren't absolutely they weren't necessary, right? Unnecessarily, we overthink about it and keep adding them. Procrastination. When we have more time, we feel that we have abundance of time and then we do not attend for it. That leads to the missed deadlines also, or we lose time. In that time, we could have done something else also, right? That procrastination can reduce our productivity. Perfectionism. When we have more time, we try to keep perfecting that one. So perfectionism is good. Definitely perfectionism is good, but it comes over the period of time, not overnight. And when we try to be perfectionist, sometimes we may not be able to complete the job on time, which are time sensitive, right? Which are time sensitive. Let's take a look at the application of the Parkinson's law in time management. It helps us to setting up the deadlines. What we do is we set up the shorter deadline or realistic deadline. It should be realistic also. The shorter one, it shouldn't be like that. I'll complete the job in 60 seconds. It won't be done. Let's say I'll complete the job in 3 to 4 hours or maybe 3 to 4 days. It depends on the scenario of the work. This can help us to maintain the focus and efficiency. Time blocking can also be used. Allocate specific time blocks for the tasks by dedicating a period for a particular activity. Let's say 2 hours for that particular activity. We create the sense of urgency, and that helps us to prevent the unnecessary expansion of the task. Prioritization. It helps us to focus on high priority tasks first by giving the important tasks appropriate but not excessive time. And remember, appropriate but not excessive time, and we ensure that we complete them on time. Break the tasks into smaller tasks or smaller steps. That helps us to cut down the complexity, and slowly we can complete everything. Limit the available resources. Do not allow the resources to go infinitively for a particular one task. For an example, time or money or manpower, right? We have to budget them nicely, limit the resources, and creatively invest them, right? So that will help us, and rest of the resources you can invest for other tasks. That helps us to focus on the other essential items also. There are certain benefits of applying the Parkinson's law, such as increased productivity, reduced procrastination, improved focus, enhanced efficiency and productivity, and better time management. So these are the advantages of the Parkinson's law. In this section, we will take a look at the Pareto principle, which is also known as 80-20 rule. Pareto principle is known as 80-20 rule. Generally was a concept suggested in some of the geographical region, when it was found that 80% of the land was owned by 20% of the people, right? For an example, it suggests that majority of the effects, which is 80%, they come from the minority of the causes. Which is 20%. This principle was named after the Italian economist, which is Vilfredo Pareto, who observed in the early 20th century that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. Later, we started understanding this principle and applied into the field of time management to improve the productivity and enhance our efficiency. The core idea of this Pareto principle was that a small percentage of the inputs or efforts often yield to the disproportionate number of the outcomes, outcomes, which means when we are doing it, 80% of our efforts scales to only 20% of the output. And some of the critical tasks, which we are putting it 20% of the efforts, which results into the 80% of the output. So we have to identify those essential and important items and spend more time on them. For an example, let's say in the business, 80% of the sales, they come from 20% of the clients, and 80% of the company, 80% of the complaints, generally they come from the 20% of the customers. 80% of the complaints that may come 20% of the customers, right? 80% of the profits may come from 20% of the products or services. 80% of the profit that comes from 20% of the products or services. Let's take a look at the application of this principle in time management. In personal activities and time management, the Pareto principle suggests that the focus on 20% of the critical tasks, which are vital few, can yield to 80% of the result. The most essential and important works, we focus more on that results in 80% of the total outcomes, right? So we have to identify and prioritize these important tasks which lead to more efficient usage of time resources. And there are certain limitations and variations also. This 80-20 ratio, sometimes it may not be common. We can vary and customize based on our personal needs. It can be 90-10 or 70-10, depending on the context. In this section, we will take a look at the time management method called Eisenhower matrix, right? The Eisenhower matrix is a powerful time management tool. It's really an excellent time management tool. It was named after the 34th President of United States, right? Eisenhower. It was named after that president. It's designed to help to prioritize the tasks. It's designed to have the prioritization of the tasks based on the urgency and importance. So we have to categorize the tasks into the 4 distinct quadrants. Such as, let's say, 4 quadrants of this Eisenhower matrix. The first quadrant would be urgent and important. Second quadrant is not urgent but important. Third is urgent but not important. And fourth is not urgent and not important. Right? Let's begin with the first quadrant and understand what it accommodates. Urgent and important. It says there are certain tasks which require immediate attention. And have significant, and if we do not attend them, they have significant consequences. They are time sensitive and crucial for accomplishing our goals, such as, let's say, pressing deadlines or immediate problems that need to be solved, crises or emergencies, or such as, let's say, for an example, if I am working on a project, I have to complete this project report or write a research project, a research paper or research project proposal, or complete some sort of meetings or complete some sort of administrative works, etc. Do these tasks immediately. Put them in the quadrant work and start working on them with the highest focus. Second quadrant is not urgent but important. Some of the tasks which they come across this particular second quadrant, which are important for our long-term goals, right? And personal development, but do not require an immediate attention. These tasks often they definitely contribute to significant outcomes and personal growth, but we did not to immediately attend them. We can put them into this particular quadrant, such as, let's say, schedule a medical health checkup. That's important, but we can schedule it as per our calendar. Such as, let's say, some of the examples: strategic planning, personal development activities like, let's say, learning a new skill or learn a new exercise, building the relationships with people or clients, preventive health checkup. The action is schedule these tasks and allocate specific times to work on them. Next quadrant is called urgent but not important. Some of the tasks, they are urgent but do not contribute significantly to the long-term goals. They often interrupt our workflow and usually they distract us. Generally, they are imposed by other people to us. Let's say, for an example, attend unplanned meeting. Suddenly a meeting comes, right? Interruptions or distractions from the phones or emails or something else. Like minor request from some other people or colleague which we can get distracted. Action is to delegate these tasks, if possible, to someone else to limit the time spent on that. The next quadrant is called, fourth quadrant, which is called not urgent, not important. Some of the tasks which are neither urgent nor not important, such as, let's say, watching a TV show or something, they are often time wasters. We can eliminate them or minimize them. For an example, let's say watching TV excessively, that we can cut down. If you are watching TV for 3 hours, we can bring it down to 1 hour. Or mindless internet browsing or watching the reels, we can bring it down to 30 minutes or 1 hour. Social media scrolling, limit that. Or eliminate if possible. If we cannot eliminate, limit that. There are certain benefits of this method, such as, let's say, improved focus, enhanced productivity, reduce stress, better time management. These are the benefits of this particular method. The next method, in this section, we will take a look at the value versus effort matrix for time management. The value versus time efforts matrix is also known as impact versus effort matrix also, or action priority matrix also, is a decision-making tool which we use to prioritize the tasks, our projects or day-to-day activities based on the potential value and the effort required for completing them. For an example, here on the scale, it says this is a low value, low effort quadrant, and here the value scale goes up. The value is high, which can be accomplished at a lower effort. Here the value is high, but the effort is also high, and this is low value and low effort. This is a low value and low effort quadrant. Overview of this, if we take a look, what we have to do, how we execute that, we have to identify the tasks or projects. And then evaluate the value of that task or project, and evaluate and assess the effort required to complete that. Plot a matrix and analyze and prioritize that. For an example, let's say some of the tasks, high value, high effort tasks. For an example, high value, low effort tasks. High value, I misspoken that, high value, low effort tasks, right? For an example, this quadrant, let's say collaborating with peers or mentors, or building the relationships with the clients, or attending the relevant seminars, webinars, or this kind of sessions, quick literature review and other things. They come under this quadrant where the impact is high, value is high, but the effort needed is lower. We can put that in that quadrant. Next one is high effort, high value tasks. Let's say, for an example, conducting the experiments, doing the research work, writing the research paper, data analysis. These are something high value, high effort task. It needs a dedicated focus also. Also, it creates a huge value in our knowledge and professional work, right? Low value, low effort tasks. Low value, low effort tasks, right? Such as, let's say, administrative tasks or organizing the research file, cleaning up the room. I mean, we can do that. They are essential, definitely, but we can do that in the leisure time or maybe when we are free. Low value, high effort tasks. Let's say sometimes studying for some sort of long-term exams or generic exams, or attending non-research related activities, or attending some sort of activities which are not in line with our long-term goal. These are accommodated in this particular segment in the fourth quadrant. Low value, high effort quadrant, because they don't add any value, but it takes our time and takes lot of huge effort, right? It takes huge effort. There are certain benefits of this method. For an example, it helps us to focus on high impact activities, because when we identify and prioritize the tasks that requires most of the benefits, we focus more on that. Sometimes some of the items, they add a great value at a least effort, right? At a least effort, we complete them at the first. It helps us to allocate the resources efficiently. It increases the productivity and help us to clearly understand the direction, and it leads us to better time management, and we can enhance our efficiency and productivity at the workplace as well as throughout the life. In this section, we will take a look at the time management method, which is often used, which is called Kanban method, It provides a visual workflow. That helps us to enhance the productivity and efficiency by arranging our tasks. So generally, we have a Kanban board. Which is a visual representation of the workflow, and typically it consists of three columns. One is to do column, one is in progress column, and one is done column. And we have to put the cards writing our tasks, or we can do through the pen and on the whiteboard also, where we have to write down those tasks into those columns, write down the description of the task in short, and deadline what we have allocated to that. Limit the work in progress, right? So it helps us to set up a limit on the number of tasks in each stage of the workflow, and that helps us to prevent the overloading and ensures that work progresses smoothly. This encourages us to focus on fewer tasks and doing overloading by the multitasking, right? It increases the focus also and optimize the workflow. It helps us to optimize the workflow. The goal is to ensure that smooth workflow is maintained and we complete the tasks one by one, step by step. It helps us to set up the clear guidelines, right? Explicit policies or guidelines, if there are any, specific to a particular task, how to handle that, and then all these things we can write down so that we don't forget it. Plus, once the task is done, we can put that in the completed column, or we can remove from the board, and whatever the pending task, we can put it in work in progress and adjust that, setting up this work in progress task, that helps us to focus on the fewer tasks and enhances our productivity and focus. When we move tasks through the workflow, it helps us to track the progress. And we can continuously review them on the board, and we can reflect. And manage our workflow and focus more on the work in progress, put them in the completed block, and then bring pending tasks to the work in progress, and adapt and improve, because it's a continuous improvement process. We have to adapt and improve. There are benefits such as, let's say, it increases the visibility. Because the Kanban board make it easy to see which tasks are in progress, which are pending, and which are completed, right? So it helps us to visualize the things, and that helps us to improve the focus and improves the efficiency, and it provides the flexibility. Also, the Kanban board is adaptable to various contexts. Let's say it can be customized to fit personal team and their needs, right? So it is flexible. You can use a digital Kanban board also, or you can have a pen and paper. You can design a Kanban board there also and fix it on a wall, or you can have a whiteboard and pen also, up to you. And focus on the continuous improvement. This method generally gives the feedback and incremental changes which fosters a culture of continuous improvement, because when we see the things in front of our eyes, we continuously improve. In this section, we'll take a look at the pickle jar method for time management. This pickle jar theory is a popular method. It illustrates how to prioritize the time and how to effectively maximize the productivity. This pickle jar metaphor says, let's say the jar here, the jar represents our available time in a day. And the big rocks, they symbolize our most important tasks or goals that we want to accomplish, such as, let's say, major work projects or the personal development or family time. These are the major blocks. Pebbles, they represent the lesser critical tasks. The pebbles, they represent the lesser critical tasks. Still, they need to be done, like, let's say, meetings or minor tasks or some other tasks which are not of so importance, but they are required. The sand represents minor or unessential or non-essential activities that can fill up our day, such as, let's say, checking the social media or watching the TV or any other distractions, right? So those that they come under the sand, right? They come under the sand. How we do that? Start with the big rock first. Place the big rocks in the jar first, which means this our top priorities, they should be scheduled into our day before anything else. The biggest task of the day should go to the first span of the day. By doing this, we ensure that most important tasks are given highest priority, and then the pebbles, the other smaller tasks, which we can fill in there, and at the end we can pour the sand. Even if let's say we are not able to complete these non-essential or unessential tasks, we are okay, because we have done our biggest task first, which holds the larger weightage, let's say 70% of the weightage. There are certain benefits of this method, such as, let's say, focused. It increases the focus, and we can give more importance to the essential activities or bigger tasks what we want to accomplish. It provides the better efficient usage of time when we are done with our bigger tasks first. And even if we miss the unessential activities, that helps us to reduce the stress and improve the work-life balance also, because we have more time left and we have a mental peace. That means it helps us to focus on our leisure activities or personal care activities or with family. And it helps us to build the decision-making skills also, because during day-to-day activities, we identify our bigger tasks. That means we are building a decision-making skills to complete those bigger tasks first. In this section, we will take a look at the time boxing method for time management. This time boxing method is a method where what we do is we allocate a fixed and minimum amount of time for each activity. Fixed and minimum amount of time. We have to be realistic also. So decent amount of time we have to put that in that particular box. So such as, let's say, a key components of time boxing method. Define the tasks. Set the time boxes. Say I want to complete that within this particular box and work within that box only. Let's say a box of one day. I want to complete all these tasks today. Let's say today, servicing the car or sending the emails or sending the documents or through the post, right? All these tasks, I want to complete them today. Do not let it spill over to the next day. Review and adjust if needed based on the current scenario. Define the tasks. Clearly define the tasks or activities that we have to accomplish. This ensures that we know what we are committing. And how to define the task? List down on the paper, write down all the tasks, and break down the larger goal into the smaller steps or smaller tasks, so that it can become manageable and we reduce the complexity. Set up the time boxes. Allocate a specific limited amount of time for each task, which will help us to prevent tasks from taking longer than the necessary, right? So that it doesn't get spill over to the next slot or a next day. And how to set up the boxes? Estimate the duration, right? When we do more, we'll understand that this task may need a day. This task may need a week. This task may need an hour, right? So accordingly, you estimate. Be realistic. It shouldn't be too short or too long, right? It shouldn't be like, I'll do this in 60 seconds. It may not be able to done, right? May not be done. We may not be able to do that. Now, in that case, we have to be realistic and use a calendar or timer. Schedule your time boxes in a calendar or use a timer to keep a track of the allocated time. Use a track of the allocated time. Work within the time box, right? Focus completing all the tasks within the designated time frame without any distraction or interruption, and then move forward. How to work within time box? Generally, we use the timer. Begin working on that task within that time box and then stay focused. Avoid multitasking and minimize the distractions, because when we do the multitasking, it takes longer than what we do. We like doing multitasking. We like getting distracted. But 10 minutes job will be done in 1 hour. We lose 50 minutes additional. Now, when we do 10 minutes job in 1 hour, we feel that we are busy, but we are unproductive. We finish 10 minutes job in 10 minutes, free up 50 minutes and use it as a leisure time. Maintain the pace from the beginning. Work steadily and efficiently to complete the task within that time box, right? There are certain benefits such as, let's say, enhanced focus, improved productivity, better time management, reduced procrastination, because when we put a box, we don't have a scope to procrastinate, work-life balance. These are the benefits they come with this method. The next method in this section, we will take a look about the time blocking method, right? This is also something like to time boxing. The time blocking method is a technique where we schedule the specific blocks of time for the different tasks or activities throughout the day. So instead of, let's say, working on a general to-do list, what we do is we block the time and focus to improve the productivity and enhance the efficiency. Key concepts of time blocking is, let's say, structured schedule. Time blocking involves creating a detailed schedule that outlines which task will take how much time, and it helps us to, and then we have to work with the highest possible focus in that duration. So, and how we do the priority management? We identify the top tasks and then put a block of time for completing that. Identify the tasks and priorities and then create a time block. Let's say 2 hours of time block for that particular task. Assign the time blocks similarly for all the tasks and include the buffer time also. Sometimes we may not be able to complete that task. Include a contingency buffer time block and review and adjust if needed. There are multiple time blocking methods. Let's say task batching, where we group the similar tasks. For an example, let's say a dedicated time block for answering all the emails. 1 hour, maybe in the evening or afternoon, for answering all the emails. One particular day for all administrative activities and meeting, right? So that's how we can do that. Day theming also you can particularly do. Let's say Monday, all the administrative activities. Tuesday, all the meetings and research related activities, or maybe meeting with the research scholars or other students or other clients. Wednesdays, Thursdays could be for the project work. Similarly, you can plan your day. And time boxing is set up a fixed limit for a task and work so that we finish them on time, and we can finish them on time. This is one example of a time schedule, such as, let's say, a morning 1 hour, 6:30 to 7:30 exercise, 7:30 to 8:30 breakfast, and maybe read news or whatever you want to. 8:30 to 9:30 respond to emails and plan the entire day. 9:30 to 10:30 research group meetings, maybe then analyze the data. 11:30 to 12:30 write a research paper or write a research proposal. Then take a lunch break. Similarly, you can plan your schedule with the time boxes. There are certain benefits such as, let's say, enhanced focus and productivity, Better time management, reduced procrastination, improved work-life balance. These are the benefits of that time blocking method. In this technique, we will take a look at a method which is called 1-3-5 technique for time management. 1-3-5 technique says that it's a simple and effective time management method. It says how to prioritize the work, such as, let's say, throughout the day, what we do is we take one biggest task of our day, one big task of our day, and we focus maximum on that. We take 3 medium or small size tasks, 3 medium tasks, which we can focus after doing one bigger task, and then 5 smaller tasks. For 5 smaller tasks, which we can do after doing one bigger and 3 medium-sized tasks. This helps us to prioritize the tasks and reduce the pressure also, as we have done our biggest task first. It helps us to improve the focus, enhance the productivity, reduce the overwhelm, and better time management, and we reduce the stress also, because we have accomplished the biggest task first. In this section, we will take a look at a method which is called 2 minutes rule for time management. In this section, we will take a look at a method called 2 minutes rule for time management. 2-minute rule is based on the idea that if a task takes less than 2 minutes or 2 minutes, then we do it immediately. Let's say we have received an email, we can reply it. It doesn't require that much of effort or checking. We can immediately reply there and there itself, so that we don't have to remember that. This principle helps us to eliminate the accumulation of the smaller tasks on our calendar and to-do list, and it becomes simple, and we also do not forget them. It is applicable on the other hand also, such as, let's say, there is a huge bigger task and we are procrastinating, we are not starting. This rule says that, or encourages us that, start at least for 2 minutes and put a first break. And it intrigues us, or it fosters the emotions into that task, and then we may start liking it, and we can have a longer spans in the subsequent time slots or day, or in the coming week or ongoing week. That helps us to build the momentum and start doing the progress. Often the starting is the difficult part. Once we start, slowly it becomes easy. It becomes easy. There are certain benefits of 2 minutes rule, such as, let's say, it reduces the accumulation of the unnecessary tasks, increase the efficiency, enhance the focus, maintain the momentum. It helps us to build the momentum for the bigger tasks and reduce the stress also by smaller pinching things. In this section, we will take a look at a time management method which is called the deep work method. Deep work time management method or technique is generally emphasizes the intense focus on the demanding tasks to achieve the high quality results, right? High quality results. Let's understand the difference between a deep work and shallow work. Let's understand the difference between a deep work and shallow work. Deep work says that it involves intense concentration, where we need creativity and cognitive effort on the bigger tasks, right? For an example, let's say complex problem solving, writing a research paper, writing a strategic planning, writing a research proposal for grants, right? Discussion with PhD students, where we are looking for high quality research work as an outcome. They need deep focus, right? Deep work, concentration. Shallow work. Let's say it comprises of lesser demanding of a logistic or administrative task, where we don't have to focus that much. Let's say, for an example, responding to tiny emails or routine meetings, where we don't have to apply brain that much. It's just the presence is required. Administrative activities which are predefined, we have to just execute them, right? So that's the difference between deep work and shallow work. Next method, in this section, we will take a look at the method which is called the biological prime time technique for time management. The biological prime time technique for time management, it says it leverages our body's natural energy cycle to optimize the productivity. our body's natural cycle to optimize the productivity. This method involves identifying the periods when we are most alert and focused, and scheduling our most demanding tasks during that peak time. Conversely, less demanding tasks we can accommodate in the lower energy periods also. For an example, let's say there is a technical term called circadian rhythm. Our body operates nearly on the 24 hours of cycle, which is known as circadian rhythm, which influences our sleep and wake pattern and energy levels throughout the day. In that circadian rhythm, there is an ultradian rhythm. Within that particular rhythm, generally about 90 to 20 minutes of period during which our alertness and cognitive function fluctuate. Our energy tracking, we have to monitor our energy levels throughout the day and the period when we are most efficient, right? When we feel most energetic and when we feel sluggish or tired, right? Or less productive. And then once we have identified those patterns and peaks, we have to allocate our tasks in such a way so that we identify the higher value or bigger tasks in the higher energy periods and unessential or smaller tasks into the lesser energy periods. Like for an example, how to track the energy. When we wake up at, let's say, I assume the best case, which fits maybe for everyone, 6 a.m. energy level is low when we wake up. Then we start doing the exercise, have a breakfast, and then at 8 a.m. it goes to 7. Then at 9 or 10 a.m. it goes to the peak, which is a peak energy duration. For an example, let's say around 11 or 10 a.m. we are at the best of our efficiency and concentration and energy period. We can accommodate the best work in that duration. After lunch, we feel a little bit of lesser energy, and then we can do maybe responding to the emails and other things. After tea, around 4 p.m. we feel energetic again. We can take some sort of intense meetings, and then in the evening energy goes down. We can do day-to-day activities and prepare for the bed. So that's how we can track the energy and do that. Let's see how to schedule the tasks according to this energy levels. So once we have identified these high energy periods and low energy periods, put the most effective tasks, such as, let's say, research paper writing or critical decision making tasks in 9 to 1 in the morning slot, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in that where we are having highest possible energy. Early afternoon, where we are sluggish, we can check the emails or do some sort of minor administrative tasks and other things. Late afternoon, 3 to 5 p.m. Meetings and collaborative works and other planning sort of things you can do. That's how we can schedule the tasks according to the energy levels. There are certain benefits, such as it helps us to increase the productivity, enhance the focus, provide the better time management, and reduce the stress. In this section, we will take a look how to say no and the power of saying no, right? The power of saying no for the time management. Sometimes we are unable to say no. The inability of saying no is sometimes it tanks our time and we lose the productivity. The ability to say no is a critical skill for effective time management. Sometimes we have to say no politely to avoid some of the tasks, or we can offer our delegates to do that work, There are certain benefits, such as, let's say, when we say no, the entire calendar goes off and we have the time for doing something important. It increases the productivity. It provides the better quality work, because when we say no to the unnecessary tasks, we can focus on the bigger and high value tasks. It reduces the stress also, because we are not putting ourselves across all the tasks, and it helps us to enhance the focus also. In this section, we'll take a look at the importance of optimizing the workspace. In this section, we'll take a look at the importance of optimizing the workspace for time management, such as, let's say, the optimized and tidy, clean workspace, uncluttered workspace is extremely important. We have to optimize the workspace so that the productivity becomes natural. We can focus easily. We don't get distracted by our workspace. Let's say everything is cluttered. We have to search the things. It reduces our efficiency. Some sort of, let's say, a lot of noise is coming out where we cannot focus, or too many papers are spreaded across. That reduces the efficiency, right? So that's why we have to optimize our workspace. Benefits of that, such as, let's say, it helps us to enhance the focus. When we have a clutter-free organized workspace, it minimizes the distractions and it allows us to focus or concentrate on a bigger task. And it increases the efficiency, because when we have all materials and tools are nearby to us, we can quickly pick it up and we can save time and efforts. It reduces the stress, right? It reduces the stress and it improves the health also. Sometimes, let's say, some of the chairs which are increasing the stress on our desk, and then we feel a back pain, right? So we have to look at the ergonomic furniture and proper lighting, which helps us to improve the productivity and reduce the fatigue and strain. Let's say the lighting is not enough, we are not able to read, right? Or we don't feel healthy if enough light is not there at our workplace. So that's why it is essential to maintain the workspace and optimize the workspace. Declutter and organize, sort out everything, and then maybe you can get a chair which is up to you. We can get a desk which is adjustable, clean up all the papers. Sometimes you can clean up your system also, delete unnecessary files or softwares which reduces the speed of your system, and so on. It's up to you. You can customize your workspace based on your work pattern. Optimizing the light sometimes helps us to improve it. You can personalize thoughtfully based on your personal needs and organize it, right? In this section, we will take a look at Eat That Frog method for time management. In this section, we will take a look at Eat That Frog method for time management. In this section, we will take a look at Eat That Frog method for time management. Eat That Frog method is designed to help individuals overcome procrastination and increase the productivity by tackling their most challenging tasks first. Here, the idea here, this frog represents the biggest task. The idea is that we complete the biggest and difficult tasks first, and rest of the day we feel easier, and we keep focusing on smaller tasks, right? Identify your frogs, which means the frogs are the most important tasks which we struggle, or which are the most difficult tasks which we want to complete, and we are procrastinating on it, right? And the action is, make a list of all these tasks which we have to complete throughout the day. Identify the task which is the most important and the most biggest one, which is aligned with our short-term and long-term goal. Categorize that and start doing that. Eat that frog. Start our day by tackling the most important task, which is the most challenging task, and dedicate the first part of the day to complete that. Break the tasks into the smaller steps. Break the bigger task into the smaller tasks. Sometimes the larger task we may not be able to do, and we feel like doing the procrastination and delay it. Therefore, break them into the smaller steps and try to do that. Develop a sense of urgency. Right? Cultivating a habit of starting and finishing the tasks promptly, that reduces the likelihood of the procrastination. When we cultivate the habit that we start and finish in time, it reduces the habit of the procrastination. And set the deadlines for the task. So commit them so that we finish on time. Focus on the key results. Concentrate on the tasks that yield most significant results and ensure that our efforts are aligned with the long-term goal. And the biggest task we finish first. Regularly review the tasks and goals to ensure that we are prioritizing those activities which is contributing to the long-term success. There are certain benefits of this method, such as, let's say, increased productivity, reduced procrastination, and enhanced focus. That's all I have for today's session. Thank you very much for your time and listening to this comprehensive presentation on time management.